All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin fees and how Bitcoin is slowly becoming pretty useless, unfortunately. So a few years ago, the Bitcoin fees were about 40 cents per transaction. Maybe you'd pay a buck. A year ago, it was about $4 per transaction. Today, it's about $33 to $40 per transaction. Your results may vary, but $40 per transaction is absolutely outrageous. So if you want to just buy something simple with your Bitcoin, you might say, oh, I can afford $20 in Bitcoin. You're going to look at the price. It's going to end up being $50, $60 just for that small transaction. Now, I understand that Bitcoin Cash is an option. I'm not a fan of Bitcoin Cash, never have been. That's just my opinion. Don't want any drama on that. I'm a Bitcoin fan, so it makes me a sad panda to see how high these fees are. And I know a lot of people just instantly start to say, well, Bitcoin is for investing, and something like Litecoin is for everyday transactions. And I do agree with you on that. But if something is a currency, and it's only designed to be invested with, then why not just invest into Litecoin or something like that? I got an itchy nose today. But so I'm a huge fan of Bitcoin, and I really hate to see it in such disarray. I have a story here that I'd like to talk about. I'd like to talk about some of the fees, and we'll get to my story in just a minute. Oh, my nose, it's so itchy. So, for example, this one tweet here, I was reading this article, this one tweet, fellow Bitcoiners, are you ever going to realize how problematic these fees are getting? Average fees are now over $40 per transaction. A year ago, average fee was $4, and a year prior was 40 cents. So growing faster than price and exponentially with usage. So I just spent $4,800 to move 15 Bitcoin in one transaction. So now 15 Bitcoin is way, way, way more than $4,800. That's a lot of money. But it just goes to show that $4,800 to make a transaction, that would be like your bank charging you $4,800 for you to deposit, you know, like $1 million or something like that. I'm not sure how 15, if that even equals $1 million, probably does not, but it just goes to show that $4,800, just a few months ago, Bitcoin was at $4,800. So you could have bought a whole Bitcoin for that size of a transaction a little while ago. And another article talking about it, and this talks about how a company, and I like this quote here. It says, the problem is that we send all of your deposited funds to our suppliers, which attracts an additional Bitcoin transaction fee, the same fee that you pay when you make a deposit. Carter's Paradise explains, sometimes we have to pay as much as $5 from every $1 that you deposited. So Bitcoin is slowly and utterly becoming quite useless in terms of a transaction, and I have the experience now to prove that. So on Coinbase / GDAX, Bitcoin is fine because you can swap it from Bitcoin to GDAX, or excuse me, from Coinbase to GDAX just fine without any fees instantly because they're one and the same essentially. And then you can put it on there just like I've made some videos of day trading and things like that. You can put it onto GDAX and you can sell it when it's high, buy it when it's low, and make money off of it. So that is real and that is no problem. The problem is when you go to buy something with it. So I decided to buy myself a couple GTX 1080 Ti turbo cards. These aren't the greatest cards in the world, but I was going to put 2 of them in my computer and then have one of my remaining GTX 980s in there. Any more than that and I'd go over the limit of my PSU currently until I build my own bigger mining rig. So for now, I was just going to grab 2 of these and fill up my computer and get to mine it even better. So you can see it's $709. Now let's click on this and check this out a little bit. So $709, there's going to be a little bit of tax there and just like $5 in shipping. So total, this card should be no more than maybe $718 with a little bit of tax, if there is any, and a little bit of shipping. So not too bad. It also includes this game here, Destiny 2, which is $60, $59.99. Now, I'm not a fan of Destiny. I've never played it. It might be a great game, but I'm just simply not interested in the game. It doesn't really matter to me, but it's free, okay? So it comes with the card. Now, I tried to buy 2 of these, one on each account, because the way it is that it's 1 per household, 1 per customer. And now you can rebuy after 48 hours, and then it allows you to buy another one. But I decided that I would buy 2 at once on 2 separate accounts and then ship one to my neighbor's house. He's a pretty good guy, and he's like, oh yeah, sure, you can ship whatever you want here. Like, I mean, it doesn't bother him none. So I was like, cool, thanks, man. And I decided that I would send one there and send one here. And cheating the system just a little bit, I know, but it's okay because you can buy more anyway. You just have to wait longer. I just didn't want to wait. So I bought 2 of these cards and I sent them the Bitcoin. The problem is that I got emails back that said I underpaid Newegg. And because of that, I had to accept those refunds. So I had to accept 2 separate refunds back. So when I paid for these, here's the problem, and here's why I underpaid, is because for some reason, when you pay with a debit card or a credit card or what have you, you're not going to pay that $59.99. It's going to be taken off the total price at the end, and you're going to get it for free, this game. But when you pay with Bitcoin, for some reason, it does not take that price off, and then it expects me to pay some $777. Instead, I paid what the grand total told me to pay, which was about $718-ish, somewhere around there in the teens, with the shipping and tax. And then, of course, there is about a $33 Bitcoin fee as well. So total... and again, I can't give you the exact prices because it was a little vague, but total I ended up paying about $747 per card. So I did overpay, but only because of the network transaction fees. And when I paid, I got an email back shortly thereafter saying that I underpaid, and I underpaid by about $30. So if you take that $30 and add it up, the total would have been pretty much the inclusion of this game here. So they really juked me. So do not buy this card in Bitcoin, by the way, or you're going to have the same problem. So okay, no problem. I underpaid. Not really my fault, but I'll accept it. I underpaid. And when I go to get those back, I have to pay another transaction fee. Fortunately, yet unfortunately, I don't know why it's fortunate, I had to pay 2 $22 transaction fees to receive it back. So in total, I pretty much wasted, let's go with $80 or so, maybe even over $80 in transaction fees to try and attempt to buy these 2 cards with Bitcoin. I've heard story after story. In fact, my wife has a friend who tries to buy something on a website every couple months, and you get a discount for paying in Bitcoin, but the problem is that you have to add $30 because of the transaction fees, and she can't pay that much. She didn't have that much Bitcoin. So what she ended up having to go and do is go back to BitPay or Coinbase, buy $5 to $10 more, pay a fee on there, and then resubmit it and pay that whole big fee. I heard a story on Reddit, and I'm sure, of course, this could be any story, but, goes into a bar, buys, $20-some worth of drinks, asks the bartender, do you mind if I pay in Bitcoin? Bartender says, sure, why not? It doesn't matter, And so when he goes to pay, it ends up being like $55, and it's going to take like 3 hours to actually go through, 2 or 3 hours for it to confirm. The bartender says, I don't have that time. So then he has to go about refunding it. Ended up costing him way, way, way more than $20 to have a good time that night with some Bitcoin. Back in the day, everybody used to tip waiters in Bitcoin, give them $5 or $10 in Bitcoin, and it was only maybe $1 transaction fee. So not too bad. You're just paying an extra buck to tip somebody in Bitcoin. So not really that bad at all. But today, it's over $40. So a big problem there, and that definitely needs worked on something pretty bad. So here's a median fee for the different cryptocurrencies, $33, and that's pretty much spot on, exactly. That's about how much I paid per transaction to send to Newegg, who then rejected the offer because it was too low. And once again, it was not low. I paid the exact amount plus the fee for the network fee. But for some reason, that game messed it all up, and it ended up costing me a lot of money. Was not very happy about that. Ethereum about 68 cents. Litecoin $1.42, which is actually surprising. I thought Litecoin, usually when I transfer Litecoin. It's actually a little less than that. I haven't experienced a $1.42 fee, a little bit less than that. And in Bitcoin Cash right now is about 4 cents. And that's pretty much because, well, nobody's using Bitcoin Cash. Even the Pirate Bay, I saw a picture of the Pirate Bay, and it has all their donations, and it'll say Litecoin, in their address, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then it says Bcash, LOL in front of it. So I thought that was pretty funny. Really good job, Pirate Bay, on that one. Very clever work. Satire is good stuff. Also, before I end this video, I actually made a video previous to this, and I forgot to thank donators, because I did say, and I have in the description of the videos, that if you donate, I'm going to call you out, and I'll thank you for your donations. Of course, they're unnecessary, but I do put them to good use. So Adrian Avila, thank you for donating $50 via PayPal on my YouTube. So he emailed me, and I gave him some advice, and he wanted some advice setting up his mining rig and things like that. So we went back and forth with some emails for a while, and then eventually he said, you know what, thanks a lot, you really helped me out. And he said, I'm gonna give you a donation. I said, not necessary, but I do appreciate that, and sent me $50. So I really appreciate that. And I'll tell you what, that money went to a really good place, because I actually bought a green screen and a stand for the green screen. So I'm going to put that green screen behind me, and there will be no more box in your YouTube video. Instead, I'll be all cut out and semi-professional. Also, I would like to make a satirical, and I hope to you guys humorous, intro video to my YouTube channel using that green screen, and I'm not sure if I have the tech to do that just yet. I might need a better camera and such, but I think it'll be a real good time. I know I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it, and it's gonna be satire, so if when you guys do see it, don't take it seriously. Do take it seriously, a little bit seriously, but keep the satire in there and keep it funny. Either way, I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I just wanted to talk about it now. What is the solution to this? There really isn't too much of a solution until a faster network is introduced with Bitcoin, because right now the network is getting bogged by the block size, by the limited block size of Bitcoin. So it's getting bogged down. So Bitcoin either needs to sort of hard fork on itself to SegWit 2, or it needs Lightning Network, which is essentially a separate layer on top of the Bitcoin that allows it to transfer much, much faster. And if it transfers fast, and that would mean that the network fees will go down, because there won't be such a queue, such a bogged down queue of transactions that are ready to go through, and that raises the fees. So really the fees have come out of the fact, or are essentially because of the fact that so many people are using Bitcoin. And because so many people are using Bitcoin, the transactions are getting bogged down, and therefore the fees are going up. So it needs Lightning Network, it needs SegWit, it needs something. And all the developers of Bitcoin and nodes, they all sort of need to agree on this and go forth. And that's sort of what happened with Bitcoin Cash. But Bitcoin Cash really rubbed a lot of people, including myself, the wrong way, particularly the attacks on Bitcoin because of Bitcoin Cash. But I don't suppose we'll get into that in this particular video. I have gotten into that in some of my older videos, but either way, Bitcoin Cash is very fast, but not too many people are using it right now, because a lot of people are pretty offended by Bitcoin Cash, to say the least. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it cleared some things up a little bit if you are using Bitcoin and notice huge, incredible fees to transfer it or to buy something with it. Currently, what I suggest is just not to buy anything with it. And I know that's weird, because it is a cryptocurrency and it needs to be used as a cryptocurrency to essentially be a currency. It needs to be used as a currency, plain and simple. If it's not, then it's not a currency. But right now, you just can't. It's the $30 to pay for something is a little too ridiculous. Now, if it's like $1,000 item and you pay just $30 to do that, that's not so bad. But even still, $30 to $40 is just absolutely outrageous, particularly for people in emerging markets. Other countries where the median income is much less, you can't afford $30 US, because that might mean your whole income for the day. And in certain countries, that might mean a whole income for a month. So it just goes to show that that's way too high. Some kind of network needs to be introduced with Bitcoin. So what I suggest is to just keep it on GDAX or Coinbase and trade it, because trading doesn't really matter. Trading it, swapping it back and forth on an exchange. Go ahead and make yourself some money with it, but don't buy anything with it unless you feel that you absolutely have to, because buying things with it is just outrageous right now. So instead, buy Litecoin if you want to buy some things, or maybe even Ethereum. To some degree, I even hate to say it, but maybe buy Bitcoin Cash if you want to buy some things. For example, the ant miners on the Bitmain website are only sold in Bitcoin Cash at the moment. It might change soon, but they're just doing a trial thing. And so for the past few months, if you go on the Bitmain website to buy an ASIC miner, everything has to be bought in Bitcoin Cash. And that's a lot more convenient now that Coinbase has introduced Bitcoin Cash, because you could just sell your Bitcoin or sell your Litecoin, pick up the amount of Bitcoin Cash that you need, and then send it on over to Bitmain to get your ant miners. So that makes it a lot easier. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you for any donations, and I'll see you guys next time.